first impressions of the car?
It's so pretty. It really is. It's like the softest leather ever. It's very, very smooth. It's very, very quiet. There's nothing but talk on the radio, so I was actually going to turn my Pandora on my phone and listen to it because it's quiet enough in here where I knew I'd actually be able to hear it. Because my phone speakers kind of don't work that well.
How does it compare to the other trucks that you've driven?
Well, I like it a lot better. It's smoother. I don't feel like I'm a big monster on the road, even though it's a pretty big truck, to tell you the truth. And I think it has a really good amount of space in here, though. It's much more comfortable. You know, I actually don't feel like the seats really need breaking in. Like, they're already that comfy. That's a big deal to me. Oh, and I really like how tight the steering is, because that's just my thing. I was used to driving a Jeep, and you know how tight their steering is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I really like it. Compared to, like, my mom had a Tahoe for a while, and it was a really nice vehicle. But I felt like I was turning it for forever before the sucker would actually turn, you know?
This car, I think, drives better than the Tahoe.
I like it better, yeah.
How about what you don't like about the car? Not much.
I can't really think of anything. I'm trying here. No, I don't know. I'm super comfortable, so I can't really think of anything. I think it has good visibility.
You got all this electronic stuff that you're not used to, right?
Yeah. That's all new. I don't know what most of the buttons do, but that's okay. I thought I wasn't gonna like the backup camera, but I actually find it pretty useful. That's my first time being driving a vehicle with a backup camera. So, to tell you the truth, I know I talked earlier about how touchy the brakes are, but I like the brakes being touchy. I know a lot of that's probably like it's a new thing, but it always makes me really nervous when you hit the brakes thinking it's going to start slowing down. You're like, oh crap, gotta hit it harder, you know what I mean? I like that it's still so square, because a lot of vehicles anymore, I feel like they're just making them all kind of look bubbly, like rounded, and this sucker, to me, doesn't look like that. And of course, it's teal. Teal's my favorite color, so I think it looks really sharp.
What are you driving now, you said?
Toyota RAV4.
You say this is an upgrade?
Yeah, just a lot. So, I'm mainly comparing this to a Tundra. My dad had a 2007 full four-door Tundra or whatever, and I used to drive it just because, you know, I like driving trucks sometimes. And this, seriously trumps that Tundra.
What do you think it does better?
Everything. You know, my biggest problem with that Tundra was it didn't do anything to hold itself back. Like coming down a hill, I mean, you can just basically, you're having to mash the brakes because they would just go flying down the hill or whatever because it was so heavy, I guess. I don't know. But this sucker is just as big, not bigger than the one he had. And it holds itself back fine. Like, I don't have to hit the brakes excessively, you know what I mean? I really like this truck. I drive it every day is what I'm trying to say. But, you know.
So if you think if you're shopping for a truck between a Ford F-150, a Silverado, a Tundra, or a Dodge Ram 1500, what do you think you would go for?
I don't know anything about Dodge Rams, honestly. But I know a good bit about Ford and Tundras and stuff, so I would totally go for the Silverado if it was choice. See, I'm really not hardly having to use the brake much here. It makes me so happy.
Gently touch it and it stops.
Yeah, because like for me, I mean, I'm not used to driving full-size trucks, and that Tundra, it would actually scare me when it would go flying down the hill like that. It was really difficult to stop.
So you feel safer.
I feel much safer,
These
yeah.
brakes, yeah.